This year, we are celebrating 33 years of Halloween Horror Nights. And in those 33 years, the Universal Orlando Entertainment Creative Group has created over 200 haunted houses. And this year, we are adding 10 terrifying haunted houses to that collection of horrors. These 10 haunted houses come from amazing horror movie franchises and original content stories that are from the creative minds right here at Universal Orlando. So, some of these incredible horror franchises that we're getting to work with this year, we're going to start off with A Quiet Place. Right? Yes! Yes! A Quiet Place. You kind of have to hush your screams as you go through A Quiet Place. You're following the Abbott family as they try to escape these creatures, these monstrous creatures who have a keen sense of hearing. If they hear you, they will hunt you. So try to muffle those screams when you're walking through A Quiet Place. Then we're stepping into one of the biggest horror franchises, crossing over into the Further, passing that giant red door in Insidious, the Further, where you are going to be trapped in the Further with all those ghouls and demons. You're going to meet the key-faced demon. You're going to meet the long-haired fiend, the man who can't breathe, the bride in black, and of course, you're going to come face-to-face with the red-faced demon. It's one of the most terrifying haunted houses we have ever designed. Every character in that haunted house not only has one boo hole, but they have 3 opportunities to scare you in every single boo hole. It is one of the most terrifying houses, like I said, we have ever designed. Next, we have one of the biggest horror franchises in Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. We are so excited to have the Ghostbusters franchise back in Halloween Horror Nights, and we are featuring the newest film in this amazing franchise, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, where you will see new Ghostbusters and some of those original Ghostbusters battle Garaka, as Garaka is trying to spread an ice age over New York City. The second one, mind you, he did it in the early 1900s, and he's escaped his trappings, and he's trying to do it again, and you are in that battle. But of course, because we love this horror franchise so much, we wanted to give you a few little Easter eggs of some of the other films. So you're going to see Vigo, a terror dog, maybe a library ghost. Also, all those teeny tiny little mini puffs doing all kinds of mischievous things. We're very excited about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. But the biggest horror franchise is Universal Monsters. And the teams from both West Coast and East Coast here at Universal Orlando and Universal Hollywood came together to create Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodline. Yes, it's an all-female monster story. We are featuring the Bride of Frankenstein, the Daughters of Dracula, the Brides of Dracula, Anxunamun, the She-Wolf, and brand new character is Saskia Van Helsing. And you are following her as she's trying to defeat these monsters. You must go through the house to see how this tale ends. But not only is it an all-female monster haunted house, here in Orlando, we got the great pleasure to have a female composer and a female show director working on this haunted house. We have Sarah Barone as our composer. She has composed an original score for this amazing haunted house, and she just recently got nominated for an Emmy, so not too shabby. So that rounds out our amazing intellectual property haunted houses, but that's not all of them, right? We have 6 original content haunted houses in our lineup this year. Those original content haunted houses, like I said, are stories that are created right here at Universal Orlando. We're gonna start with Goblin's Feast. We are walking into a goblin village where they are celebrating the Goblin's Feast, and what is on the menu for this Goblin's Feast? You as humans. So you must try to escape the goblins, trolls, hobgoblins, and witches as you go through this goblin community. Then we have Slaughter Sinema 2. the first Slaughter Cinema where you went into the Cary Drive-In and you saw tons of B-movie horror movies. Well, Slaughter Cinema 2 is doing just that. You're returning to the Cary Drive-In where you'll not only see B horror movies, but you're going to see some spaghetti westerns and a few creature features. We're featuring slaughtering jesters. We're featuring zombie clowns, and you may see a few killer Kringles in Slaughter Cinema 2. Next we have the Museum Deadly Exhibits, where you'll enter an international folklore museum. Their newest exhibit is the Rotting Stone. And the Rotting Stone, wherever it goes, its folklore is wherever the Rotting Stone goes, it creates death and rot and destruction wherever it goes. And so once that new exhibit in that Rotting Stone enters the museum, it's doing just that. It is causing death and destruction throughout the museum and causing everything in the museum to come to life. And when I say everything, absolutely everything. The workers in the museum are attacking us. The tables in the museum are attacking us. The tapestries in the museum are attacking us. The exhibits are attacking us. And then you ultimately have to meet the Rotting Stone at the end, who is coming to life and never going to allow you to leave that museum. Next, we have Major Sweet's Candy Factory. Yes, the very popular Scare Zone Sweet Revenge. Major Sweets and Miss Treats are back, but it is a prequel. And in this prequel, they have to test the candy before they go to the Halloween celebration in the small town in New York. So they invite a school on a field trip to come to the candy factory. Once the school enters, the kids are whisked away to be testing the candy, and we, as teachers and chaperones, are escorted into the factory. Well, their candy works, and those kids are turning vile, candy-coated killers. You're gonna see Major Sweets, Miss Treats, their new friend Taffy, who they've done lots of experiments for their candy on Taffy, but it is a gross haunted house with candy-coated killers. Then we have Monstruos, the Monsters of Latin America. Yes, it was a hit at Universal Studios Hollywood last year. It was one of their #1 houses in their event last year, and we wanted to bring it to the East Coast to celebrate it here in Orlando, and we're doing just that. We are taking a journey with Muerte as he tells the stories of 3 huge Latin folklore creatures. We're going to see La Lechuza, El Sabon, and Telahapuchi. They're all vile. They all do vile things, and you're going to meet up with them face to face. And the last one of our 6 is Triplets of Terror. We wanted to build an original slasher story in our event. We didn't want to have 1 slasher, we wanted to have 3. So you are going to follow Harmony, Junior, and Melody on their journey to reenact their massacre of a birthday party. And you are going to have to try to evade those triplets everywhere you go. So that's 10 incredible haunted houses. But you know that's not all the content in the event, right? We have an amazing live show. Nightmare Fuel is back with a whole new story. It's Nightmare Fuel Nocturnal Circus. The Dreamer story is done, and now we're following the hero. The hero on this All Hallows Eve night is trapped in this nighttime nocturnal circus. He witnesses his beloved fall to her death in this aerial act, and he has to relive this nocturnal circus over and over and over again until he saves her. Will he save her? I don't know. You'll have to go see the show. But it has all the illusions. It has the fuel girls. It has the fire. It has the pyro. It has the sexy that you know of Nightmare Fuel. We also have 5 incredible scare zones. And this year, you enter the park and must choose your path. You must choose who you follow. Is it Sinister, who reigns supreme on all physical, body torture, gore, That side of horror? Or is it surreal, who reigns supreme over psychological, demented, twisted, ghostly fantasy horror? Which one will you follow as you enter Duality of Fear and must make your choice right there? Do you turn right and enter Surreal's domain of the demon queens as they have their twisted torment torturers surrounding you and getting into your mind for that psychological horror? If you continue on Surreal's path, you will go into a swamp. But before we do that, let's go straight into Sinister's realm of the ye old torture fair, where Sinister has taken over the king and queen of the torture fair and had this current day 2024 torture fair turn into this medieval torture fair where this bloody scare zone is going to take everyone in and torture them in the most medieval ways. Then if you continue our path, we're going to enter the Blumhouse, where you're going to see all your favorite killers from those Blumhouse films. But I'm going to round out Surreal's last scare zone by Swamp of the Undead. Swamp of the Undead is fit for Central Park. One, we're starting earlier, so it's a little swampy out there anyway, right? So in Central Park, you're going to see fireflies in the trees. We're going to feel the beautiful Florida humidity. We have effects and text. Yeah, it's perfect. We're going to have effects and text make it look like the swamp is alive, and you're going to have swamp zombies chasing you through the Swamp of the Undead. We like to call them swambies. But let's talk a little bit more about Sinister and Surreal. So for over 10 years, our teams have been creating and working on these female-presenting iconic characters, Sinister and Surreal. And this year, in our 33rd year, the screams and the fears have been building up, and we broke through that realm. And you now will have to, like I said, choose your path. Do you follow Sinister's physical horror? Or do you follow Surreal's mental, psychological horror? This year, in Halloween Horror Nights 33, Sinister and Surreal take over Halloween Horror Nights.
Kings and queens of sinister trade.